Have you ever stopped to wonder what really happens inside the body of an elderly person when walking becomes rare, almost like a forgotten habit? Imagine this: you're visiting your grandmother in Ohio, and she quietly admits that she hasn't taken a proper walk in weeks because she just doesn't feel like it anymore. On the surface, it seems harmless. After all, she's just resting, right? But after weeks of avoiding movement, something begins to change beneath the skin, in the muscles, the bones, even in the heart. These changes are often invisible at first, but they build up silently, and before you know it, they shape the future of that person's health. That's why today, we're diving into 5 shocking things that happen to a senior's body if rarely walking, and trust me, you'll want to stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover could be the turning point in how you look at aging. Let's start with a real story. A man named Michael Johnson from Denver, Colorado, used to love hiking in the Rocky Mountains. But after he turned 72, he slowly gave up the habit of daily walking. Within 6 months, he noticed that climbing even a short staircase felt like dragging heavy weights. His legs weakened, and his doctor warned him that his bone density had dropped significantly. Michael later confessed in a local SeniorHealth forum, "I thought sitting was safer than walking, but in reality, sitting was slowly stealing my strength." This testimony isn't unique. Across the United States, millions of seniors unknowingly go through the same decline just because they underestimate the power of walking. Science backs this up. According to the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity, seniors who reduce their daily steps to less than 1,500 per day experience a dramatic decline in lower body muscle mass in just 2 weeks. Imagine that, just 2 weeks of less walking, and the body already starts losing its natural defense system. The muscles that were once strong and steady, giving you the solder-like stability to carry groceries or hug your grandkids, begin to shrink. This is one of the first hidden dangers. These facts remind us that habits matter, especially the small ones we often overlook. And here's where the tension rises. Most seniors believe that rest equals recovery. But in reality, long periods of rest without walking turn into a silent thief of independence. These are the things no one talks about during family dinners, until one day, someone falls or gets diagnosed with osteoporosis. By then, it's often too late. That's why we must open our eyes today. So as you sit back and watch this video, I challenge you, don't just think of this as information. Think of it as a mirror. Maybe it's your mother, your father, or even yourself who needs this message. Stay with me until the very last part, because these insights might just change the way you protect your health or the health of the people you love the most. Shocking thing number 1, rapid muscle loss and weakness. The very first shocking thing that happens when seniors rarely walk is something doctors call sarcopenia, a fancy word for muscle loss. But let's break it down in everyday terms. Your muscles are like an engine. If you don't turn the engine on, it rusts, it weakens, and eventually, it stops working the way it should. Walking is one of the most powerful ways to keep that engine alive, yet many seniors ignore it. These are not just little changes, they are dramatic, life-altering transformations that creep in silently. Take the story of Linda Brown from Austin, Texas. At 69, she retired from teaching and thought she deserved long hours of rest on her couch, watching TV shows she missed for years. At first, she enjoyed it, but after just 3 months of this new lifestyle, she noticed her legs trembling whenever she stood up too quickly. Climbing stairs felt impossible, and carrying groceries became an exhausting task. When she visited her doctor, she was shocked to hear that her leg muscles had already shrunk by nearly 10%. "I never thought doing less could actually cost me my strength," Linda admitted. Her story is a wake-up call, because it shows how quickly the body can betray us after walking becomes a rare habit. Research confirms her experience. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that seniors who reduced daily walking from 10,000 steps to less than 1,500 steps experienced muscle atrophy in just 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Imagine spending a vacation sitting around, thinking you're relaxing, only to come home weaker than before. These facts prove that daily movement isn't optional, it's survival. The muscles, especially in the legs and hips, are like the solder that holds the body together, giving seniors stability, independence, and freedom. Without that solder-like strength, the risk of falls, fractures, and long-term disability skyrockets. And here's the catch: muscle loss isn't just about looking weaker. It directly affects your health in ways you might not expect. When muscles shrink, metabolism slows down. That means even if you're eating the same food you've always enjoyed, your body starts storing more fat because it's burning fewer calories. This creates a chain reaction: weight gain, joint pressure, diabetes, and cardiovascular risks. These are the things most seniors never realize until it's too late. That's why building the habit of walking isn't just about exercise, it's about protecting the entire system of your body. Doctors often say, if walking were a pill, it would be the most prescribed medicine for seniors. And they're right. Walking strengthens muscles, boosts circulation, and even improves mental clarity. That's why you must avoid falling into the trap of thinking rest is always best. The truth is, staying still too long is one of the biggest dangers of aging. Linda's story, and the scientific data behind it, make one thing clear: walking daily is not a luxury, it's a necessity if you want to keep your independence. Shocking thing number 2, weakening of bones and higher risk of fractures. The second shocking effect that happens when seniors rarely walk is the weakening of bones, often leading to osteoporosis and fractures. Bones are living tissues, just like muscles. They respond to pressure and movement. When you walk, the impact of each step sends signals to your bones, telling them to stay strong, to keep producing new cells, and to maintain density. But when those signals disappear, when walking becomes rare, the bones start losing their soldier-like strength. Without that natural reinforcement, fractures become far more common, even from something as small as slipping in the kitchen or missing one step on the stairs. Let's take Robert Miller from Phoenix, Arizona as an example. At 74, Robert had always been a strong, independent man. He was a former carpenter, proud of his ability to fix almost anything. But after retiring, he slowed down. He stopped walking daily, thinking it was time to enjoy his chair. 2 years later, while bending to pick up a dropped remote, he slipped slightly and fractured his hip. What shocked Robert wasn't just the injury, but how fragile his bones had become. His doctor explained that his lack of walking reduced his bone density dramatically, making his skeleton weaker, almost like a wooden frame eaten away from the inside. "I never thought my bones could betray me," Robert said with tears in his eyes. His story is a warning for all seniors. Bone health depends heavily on daily movement. Science gives us even more clarity. According to the National Osteoporosis Foundation, seniors who remain sedentary are twice as likely to suffer hip fractures compared to those who walk at least 30 minutes daily. The act of walking applies gentle stress to bones, which is exactly what keeps them strong. These findings prove one of the most important things about health in aging. Without consistent walking, bones lose density, joints stiffen, and independence is slowly stolen away. And once fractures occur, recovery is often long and painful, sometimes even leading to permanent disability. These facts are not meant to scare you, they are meant to remind you of what you must avoid. Now, let me pause for a second and ask you something. Are you still with me up to this point? If yes, type number 2 in the comments right now. I want to know who's truly listening carefully and cares about protecting their health or the health of their loved ones. And while you're at it, don't forget to like this video, share it with your family and friends, and of course, subscribe to our channel Golden Age Wisdom. We share wisdom, life lessons, and essential habits that help seniors live longer, healthier, and happier lives. Because remember, bones are not just frames holding us up. They are the foundation of freedom, movement, and independence. And walking, as simple as it sounds, is the best way to keep those bones strong enough to carry you through life's later years. Shocking thing number 3, decline in heart and circulatory health. The third shocking thing that happens when seniors rarely walk is a decline in heart and circulatory health. You see, the heart is a muscle too. It needs exercise, stimulation, and constant use to stay strong. When walking becomes rare, blood flow slows down, arteries stiffen, and the risk of cardiovascular diseases skyrockets. For seniors, this isn't just about numbers on a doctor's chart, it's about life and death. After all, heart disease remains the #1 killer among older adults in America. Take Margaret Wilson from Tampa, Florida as a living example. At 71, Margaret had been active all her life. She enjoyed gardening and strolling around her neighborhood. But after she developed knee pain, she avoided walking altogether, thinking she was giving her body a rest. Within a year, she found herself constantly tired, short of breath even after climbing a few stairs. One morning, she felt chest tightness and ended up in the emergency room. The doctor's words hit her hard: "Your heart is weakening, not because of age alone, but because of inactivity." Margaret realized her decision to avoid walking had slowly stripped her heart of its endurance. "I thought staying still was harmless," she later admitted, "but it almost cost me my life." The science behind this is crystal clear. According to the American Heart Association, walking at least 30 minutes a day reduces the risk of heart disease by 35%. On the flip side, being sedentary doubles the risk of cardiovascular complications in seniors. Why? Because walking helps the heart pump blood efficiently, keeps arteries flexible, and prevents the dangerous buildup of cholesterol. Without it, the circulatory system becomes sluggish, like a river blocked by debris. These are the things that silently attack seniors' health when walking is ignored. And it's not just about avoiding heart attacks. Poor circulation also means reduced oxygen delivery to the brain and muscles, which explains why many seniors who rarely walk often complain of dizziness, brain fog, or cold hands and feet. Walking, in contrast, acts like a natural medicine, keeping blood flowing, energy levels steady, and the heart strong like solder holding the body's systems together. That's why doctors keep insisting that walking isn't optional, it's something seniors must do if they want to avoid preventable health disasters. But here's the powerful part: improvement can start immediately. Research shows that seniors who restart the habit of walking, even after months of inactivity, begin to see cardiovascular benefits within just a few weeks. That means it's never too late to get up, take that first step, and give your heart the daily workout it needs. Imagine the difference it could make, not just in extending life, but in restoring the quality of life itself. So, the next time you think sitting in your chair all day is harmless, remember Margaret's story. Your heart might be silently begging you to move. Don't wait for a crisis to force you into action. Choose walking today, because your heart, more than anything else, depends on it. Shocking thing number 4, decline in mental health and brain function. The fourth shocking thing that happens when seniors rarely walk is a decline in mental health and brain function. Many people assume walking only helps the body, but the truth is, it also plays a massive role in keeping the brain sharp and emotions balanced. Without regular movement, seniors face a much higher risk of depression, anxiety, memory loss, and even dementia. These are not small issues, these are life-altering changes that quietly erode independence and joy. Let me share the story of James Anderson from Portland, Oregon. James was a lively man in his 60s who loved crossword puzzles and reading history books. But after retiring at 68, he stopped walking his daily mile around the park, telling himself he deserved more rest. Within a year, his family noticed something strange. James became forgetful, leaving the stove on, misplacing keys, forgetting names of people he'd known for years. More troubling, he often sat silently in his chair, staring at nothing, sinking into loneliness. His doctor later explained that reduced physical activity had slowed blood flow to his brain, decreasing oxygen supply and harming cognitive performance. "I thought memory loss just came with age," James admitted. "But my inactivity sped it up." His case is a reminder that the brain suffers as much as the body when walking becomes rare. Science agrees. According to a study from the National Institute on Aging, seniors who walk regularly reduce their risk of developing Alzheimer's disease by nearly 50%. Another research published in the Lancet Neurology revealed that walking increases the production of endorphins and neurotransmitters, the feel-good chemicals that combat depression and stress. These findings show us something powerful: walking isn't just movement, it's medicine for the mind. Without it, seniors face a higher chance of mental decline, loss of focus, and emotional instability. These are the things most families overlook until it's too late. And here's another important truth: habits matter. Building the habit of walking daily doesn't just strengthen bones and muscles, it boosts memory, lifts mood, and keeps seniors connected with life. For many elders, loneliness is one of the biggest silent killers. Walking, especially in a park or with friends, acts as both social and physical therapy. It's one of the most powerful tools to avoid isolation, sadness, and cognitive decline. Now let me pause and ask you, are you still listening carefully up to this point? If yes, type number 4 in the comments right now. I want to know who truly values these insights about protecting the mind and heart of our elders. And while you're here, don't forget to like this video, share it with your loved ones, and subscribe to Golden Age Wisdom so you never miss life-changing lessons about health and aging. Because in the end, the brain is the control center of everything. Without it, strength and health mean little. Walking is one of the simplest, cheapest, and most effective ways to keep that control center alive and vibrant, even in the golden years. Shocking thing number 5, poor digestion and weakened immunity. The fifth shocking thing that happens when seniors rarely walk is poor digestion and a weakened immune system. Most people don't connect walking with the stomach or the immune response, but the body is a network. When one part slows down, everything else follows. For seniors, skipping the simple habit of walking daily can lead to constipation, bloating, loss of appetite, and even lowered resistance to infections like the flu or pneumonia. These are the things that make aging far more difficult than it has to be. Take Susan Carter from Chicago, Illinois, for example. Susan was 73 when she decided to spend most of her days indoors after her husband passed away. She used to take long morning walks with him, but when she stopped, her health began to shift in ways she never expected. Within a few months, she struggled with constant constipation, stomach cramps, and low energy. Later, she started catching colds more often, something that had rarely happened before. When she finally visited her doctor, the diagnosis was clear: lack of physical activity had slowed her digestion and weakened her immune defenses. "I never realized walking was keeping me healthy on the inside too," Susan said. Her testimony shows how much the body depends on simple movement for its most basic functions. Science supports this truth. According to a study published in the Journal of Gastroenterology and Hepatology, seniors who engage in moderate walking at least 30 minutes a day experience better bowel movements and fewer digestive issues compared to those who live sedentary lifestyles. Walking stimulates intestinal muscles, helping food move more efficiently through the digestive tract. Meanwhile, research from the National Institutes of Health highlights that walking boosts immune cell circulation, enabling the body to fight viruses and bacteria more effectively. Without it, the body becomes sluggish inside, creating an environment where illness thrives. And here's where it gets even more serious. Seniors who rarely walk often find themselves trapped in a vicious cycle. Poor digestion leads to malnutrition, which weakens the body further. A weak immune system means more illnesses, and each illness reduces energy, making it even harder to walk. Before long, independence is lost, and daily life becomes filled with discomfort and hospital visits. These are the cycles seniors must avoid if they want to live not just longer, but better. Walking, in contrast, is like pressing a reset button for the body every single day. It keeps the gut active, the immune system alert, and the spirit refreshed. Even something as small as a 15-minute walk after meals can transform digestion, improve mood, and reduce the chances of infections. It doesn't require expensive medication or complicated therapy, just the courage to take consistent steps forward. So if you've ever underestimated the power of walking, let Susan's story be your reminder. Sometimes the simplest actions are the most powerful medicines. And among these, walking remains the cheapest, safest, and most effective way to support both physical and internal health. Final conclusion. So, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've uncovered together. We began this journey by asking a simple question: what really happens when seniors rarely walk? And now, after exploring these shocking truths, the answer is clear. First, we saw how quickly muscles shrink and strength disappears when walking is neglected. Then we learned how bones lose their soldier-like stability, making fractures and injuries far more likely. We also discovered how the heart and circulation weaken without daily movement, silently raising the risk of heart disease. Next, we faced the reality of mental decline, how the absence of walking fuels depression, anxiety, and even dementia. And finally, we revealed how digestion slows down and the immune system collapses, leaving seniors vulnerable to illness. These 5 things are not just statistics or theories. They are real consequences, proven by science, and lived by countless seniors across the United States, just like Michael in Denver, Linda in Austin, Robert in Phoenix, Margaret in Tampa, James in Portland, and Susan in Chicago. If you've been following along, you've probably noticed one common thread: walking is not just about moving your legs. It's about protecting your future, your freedom, and your dignity. Walking keeps the muscles alive, the bones strong, the heart steady, the brain sharp, and the immune system ready to fight. It is, in many ways, the single most powerful medicine available to seniors, and it costs nothing. That's why we must stop underestimating it. That's why we must build the habit of walking into our daily lives, no matter how small or slow the steps may seem. Because each step is a step toward independence, vitality, and hope. Think about these stories. Think about what happened after these seniors stopped walking, how quickly their bodies changed, how quickly their health declined. And now think about what could happen if you, or your loved ones, chose differently. Imagine choosing to walk around the block today, to stroll in the park tomorrow, to build a simple routine that keeps your life active and vibrant. That one decision could change everything. It could mean fewer pills, fewer hospital visits, and more precious time spent enjoying the people and things you love the most. Now let me ask you one final time, have you stayed with me until the end of this video? If yes, I want you to type number 6 in the comments right now. Let me know that you are part of this community of people who care about wisdom, health, and better aging. And while you're here, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends and family, and most importantly, subscribe to our channel Golden Age Wisdom. This is where we share inspirational quotes, life lessons, and powerful advice to help seniors and their families live stronger, wiser, and happier lives. Remember, aging is not about losing, it's about learning. And walking is one of the simplest lessons life has given us. Don't wait until it's too late. Take that step today, because your future health, your joy, and your independence are walking right beside you.